live. And yep, we're live. Edubbs, what's up, dude? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Murph. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I think I sound a lot better today, Rich, than last week. Last week I sounded like I was talking in a tin can, basically.
Yeah, it's like I said, we're gonna fix your audio a little bit, but yeah, your audio comes in and out a little bit, but you sound pretty good. You sound better than last week. We'll get you through. Remember, this is a 5-year plan. We're in year 3 of our 5-year plan for this podcast, dude. So still got some time.
I think I might have to like rent out a podcast room or something like that, or build like a bunker, like 6 feet under my house or something like that, where I just go into and do a podcast and stuff. You know, you meant to be nice, Rich. It's not the exact palatial estate it's meant out to be and stuff, right?
Exactly. I actually have maybe I'll have to expand my room that I have down here. Maybe you'll have to come over here once a week and we'll do it live. Then that's
Ah,
gonna be
there we
real
go. That's a possibility as well. Yeah, exactly. So, will I have to
awesome.
take on a mortgage on that, Rich, or what?
What's that?
Will I have to take a mortgage out on that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely doing
Yeah,
good. Like I said, you come once a week, sit down and do a nice little podcast. I'm slowly but surely getting this area down here because this is like the last bastion of stuff that I
right,
had that's actually that I can go to for some serenity. It's a little what is it,
right.
6 by 8 by 12 little room that I have
Exactly,
behind
exactly.
my
Yep,
wife's
that's
salon,
right.
but that's all I got right
I
now.
know, I know there's some podcast rooms in Wappingers. I heard there's a podcast room and stuff, but
Yeah.
who knows, you know?
I can listen. I can make this into a little podcast room. This is the only room in my house that no one's going to infiltrate on me. So
Yep, exactly. There you go. There you go. You got your little man cave, right?
exactly. Now, listen. I know we got a lot going on in football today. I know we got
Yep,
but football is going to be kind of on the back burner today because you know that we've been pumping all week the Juan Soto and the Mets fans versus Yankee things
sure.
that we will get to. But I don't know anything you want to like kind of open up with. I know you got any good stories like you
Well,
got anyone tell anybody out there stuff you hate around the holidays. I mean that's something that normal people like.
well, Rich, did you open your eyes yet? I have something on the top of my dome. I don't know if you've seen
Oh
that
my
already.
God, that's right.
Yep,
What
yep,
the hell are
yep.
you doing, dude? You wearing a Mets
I
hat.
Yeah,
What is that all about?
I just might have picked something up from Ben's closet before I went on the air or something like that. But yeah, I don't know what it's all about, you know. And it's funny. I was in the city yesterday, and I was actually thinking about going to City Field and doing a commercial for the podcast. Just like, you know, what Murph, because Murph likes to do the commercials from obscure strip mall parking lots.
Yeah.
Statue, but question,
You got to
and
come a
yeah,
little
no, I
closer. Hey, sorry. You got to come a little
yeah,
closer.
yeah, I put
All
this
right, better.
garbage on my head and stuff like that. You know what? Oh, the real deal now. So how about that,
Right
huh?
back to the pompous Yankee fan that Facebook thinks you are. Wow. Look at that. Just like that out there, Facebook people that listen to us on Facebook.
And
Pompous, pompous Edubbs with his hat back on.
I got a lot to say about that, Rich, because
You will.
I was going through the threads on the Murf and Edubbs show, and it was Saturday when you're stuffing it in the Mets face. I made a prediction on November 12th. That Steinbrenner was going to give, I mean, we're projecting the best player but that Steinbrenner was going to give Soto a blank check, right? And basically, he gave him a blank check for more money than the Mets. Can we talk about that later and stuff, Rich? I know a couple of months on the show, he said if Soto's inside with the Mets, you got to blame Steinbrenner and Cashman, but I really can't do that because the Yankees made an effort, you know, and I didn't think the Yankees were going to do that. Especially when Steinbrenner said he wanted a $300 million payroll, and anything much higher would be unsustainable. But yeah, we'll talk about the Soto stuff later. I got my Yankee hat back on, but yeah,
All right.
Rich, you wanted to start the show with what was that?
Well, look, we got something. Add a little fun to the thing because you know how sometimes Edubs has some crazy takes on some stuff, and I like to get some
Yep.
of his takes out there. So
Hmm.
we're gonna start something here. It's gonna be called Edubs. It's gonna be what does Edubs think? I'm gonna ask you a question, right?
Okay.
And then you're gonna answer me honestly. You're gonna answer me
Hmm.
if you don't really give us, if you really don't care,
Yep.
or you're gonna answer me and give me an answer. What you think about it? You know, it's gonna
Yep.
be they're all sports related,
Okay,
but
'cause I thought you wanted to talk about me and the holidays and stuff like that.
you know what? That we'll get to that during my what does Edubs think? Well, you'll
Okay,
see. I
great.
played that in there, Edubs. Don't worry.
Oh, good, good, good.
All right, listen, we're gonna do question one. This is the question one of the first annual What Does Edubs Think? Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Edubs. I read the other day. Michael Vick is in the news again the other day. Michael Vick
Yep,
interviewed for the Norfolk State head coaching football job.
right.
Now, he's not reaching out for a job. Norfolk State reached out to him, and it
Yep.
looks to me like the interview went well, and Michael Vick is going to be the coach of Norfolk State University. What
Mhm.
does Edubs think about that?
It's kind of like Deion Sanders, Rich. The guy who's never had coaching. Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. Deion Sanders did. He was coaching in the. He was coaching. I think it was one of the teams down south, Jackson State or something like that. So okay, so getting back to that, Rich, I think the team reaches out to Michael Vick. And Michael Vick never had any coaching experience, Rich. I think you need to get your feet a little wet. You got to be on a sideline. I don't know if he's a coordinator or what, but look at Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone came out of the broadcast booth at ESPN to the Yankee managerial job. He never had an experience either. But I think even in college, I think it's very important to have a real coach because a lot of these kids come from high school programs and well coached high school programs to go into college. You have a guy that never coached a day in his life and stuff. I mean, all kidding aside, he's got the controversy with the dogs and stuff. I mean, but we all deserve a second chance in life, Rich. I think he paid his price on that. He paid his dues. As far as coaching, I said went as a coordinator for a couple of years and then come into coaching. So I'm not really that's that, Rich. I'm not really happy about that hiring.
Okay, that's good, good, good. I have my thoughts. Like I said, give my thoughts another time. But Michael Vick, in my eyes, definitely deserves a second chance. And there was one time where about 35 miles away, Michael Vick went to high school over where he grew up over there, and
Hmm.
he was the best athlete in the entire state of Virginia. So, I
Right.
mean, look,
No
it is
doubt
what
a
it is.
fantastic athlete, Rich. No doubt about
Yeah.
it. I mean, all the kids on Madden used to play Michael Vick, right? And Michael Vick would
You
be
want to
like
hear
a
another? You want
99
to hear another
100.
crazy, a little weird stat about Michael Vick?
What's that?
Michael Vick and some other athlete pretty much grew up in the same town, just went to different high schools, and they
Hmm.
played football against each other. And this young man played basketball at a high level. He went for basketball instead of football. Allen Iverson lived in the town over to him, and
Oh, wow,
Allen
look at that.
Iverson
I
was a
never I
ridiculous
never knew that,
athlete in high
Rich.
school also.
Oh,
What's that?
great research. I never knew that. That's great. Awesome.
That I
Yeah.
actually knew.
Yeah.
All right,
Great.
so all right, Michael Vick gets a second shot. Okay, question number two. Both Deontay Johnson and DeAndre Campbell were released from their prospective teams this weekend. Not for injury reasons, but they outright said to their coaches that they do not want to play in the football game. Now, the Ravens took the road of, we're not going to really say anything. We're not going to disrupt our team. The 49ers were extremely vocal about this young man and him not wanting to play, specifically Kittle, Bosa, and the other wide receiver there. What does Edubs think about their decision to not play football at a big game?
You know what, Rich? I compare it to me not wanting to go to work and, and putting on work on the job, basically. I mean, you got a job to do, you're getting paid a lot of money. Why are you guys like, why you guys don't want to play? If I was the team, I would take back their money. I know the union won't allow it or anything like that, but if I was the teams, I would say, I'm taking back your money. You get off the team, And how would you feel like if another team, if you're another team wanting to pick up these guys, what's going to tell you that these guys are going to quit on you when you sign these guys and stuff like that? So, I mean, it's just like leaves a bad taste in my mouth with these guys quitting and stuff like that.
Now you just said a good word. Like I'm gonna equate it to my job. Like I have like
Hmm.
you and specifically some friends that I
Hmm.
have that look at me
Hmm.
sometimes and they say to me, Rich, it's like I got my office job. Like I don't know how the hell you do it. You're out there in the elements. You're out there. You're
Right.
doing this, that, and the other things. Like
Right.
how do you do it? And my
Hmm.
answer is always the same: is when I go to work and I start work at 7 a.m.
Yep.
There's roughly another 25 men that are doing the same exact thing that I'm doing.
Sure. Sure.
Now, what's
Hey,
is
there's
that Ben?
Ben. Look, there's Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Ben.
I think he's
So
trying
the
to flip
point I'm
something on the
making it
screen here.
the point I'm making is that in football as well.
Yep.
So when you're being paid to do your job, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a football player, if it's
Hmm.
a baseball player, if it's a construction worker, if it's an accountant.
Right.
When you go to work, the rest of the people that are on your team are doing the same exact thing. And not to mention
Exactly.
the fact that you had to go into that game because
Yep.
two of your linebackers were injured and it was
Hmm.
a tight
Hmm.
game and your team needed you. And you
Right.
outright just told the coach, I do not want to play. Now, that to
Exactly.
me is a serious character flaw in a lot of young people this day
Oh
and
yeah,
age.
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, it's like the snowflake society, Rich. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, you walk off the job and stuff, but you have a job to do. You have
yes,
a job to do,
absolutely.
like even we work from home now, so there's no more sick days. I mean, you gotta
No,
be really sick and think that to take a day off from work. So I
correct.
think with the modern technologies, but I know in football you can't work at home and stuff. But
No,
if you sign a
that's
contract, you're playing for a team for 18 games unless you're getting hurt. Play the games. Don't quit on your
yes.
team. Well, I mean, what does
Absolutely.
it show? It just shows your character, basically. And good luck to these guys finding another job.
Actually, they're saying that Deontay Johnson's probably going to wind up signing with the Chiefs. Could you imagine if this guy just decides not to play, being a baby, and all of a sudden he goes to the Chiefs and he has a possibility of winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's
That
just
makes life not fair. But
yeah, we see that with yeah, we see,
This DeAndre
mhm.
Campbell guy may never get a job in the NFL again because literally, I think Nick Bosa and Kittle, literally, if they could have grabbed him and choked that guy to death, they might have because they look. I mean, Kittle took the joking route and Bosa took the I'm going to beat the shit out of you route. So it's kind of like, there's a lot. Bottom line is, there's a bunch of men that doing the same thing as those two
Right,
kids were doing, and they
right.
they turned their back on their team and they gave up and they quit. That's a perfect
Yeah,
word to use. I'm against that.
and I hate these guys like Odell Beckham Jr. Remember, he decides where he wants to go play and stuff like that. It's just stupid for these athletes.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than it used to be, Rich. So we all know that and stuff.
Right. We
So
could
right,
talk about that, like maybe at the end discuss a little football, but that might be going on with the Sanders boys. So we'll see what happens there. All right.
right.
Next question actually has to do with Colorado Buffaloes. Okay.
Okay, great, great.
What's up?
I said great. Lead on
All
me.
right. Good. Okay. The other night, Travis Hunter won
Yep,
the Heisman Trophy.
yep.
Okay. Had a kid over in Boise that had a great year. Don't get me wrong. And
Hmm.
let's say at the end of the day, the quarterbacks weren't winning it this year. It was between those two. Okay.
Right,
Barry
right.
Sanders sent the kid from Boise, Idaho, sent him a signed jersey and a letter saying that he's proud of him. Now go to the
Yes,
NFL and show your worth. And that was a
right,
great letter. Okay. Now,
right.
Deion Sanders came out the other day and said, if you are an NFL GM or a coach, do
Hmm.
not, under any circumstances, draft Travis Hunter if you're not
Okay,
going to allow him to play both ways.
right.
Now, this is something that I don't know if it can be done in the NFL because it never has. Deion
Yep.
Sanders played two sports, so it's easy for him to
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
So, what does Edubs think about an NFL coach or GM looking at Travis Hunter right now? Could quite possibly be one of the best athletes to come out of college,
Right.
this side of like the 80s, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or this side of Deion Sanders or Barry Sanders. What does Edubs think about this kid, Deion, saying that he has to play both ways if he plays in the NFL?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Dion's making decisions and stuff like that. I mean, it's the kid's decision what he wants to do, basically. But if it's you need to play both ways. We see Otani, he's pitching and hitting in baseball and stuff like that. So, if the kid's gonna be a unicorn, NFL owners might want him to play both ways because it saves less salary and stuff. It's all about the money now, Rich. So if he saves the salary by playing both offensive defense, that's one market spot that you have saved for another position, basically. So as far as Deion Sanders thinking in a way that's limiting what this was doing, that's wrong. I mean, you have to let the team's decision what they want to do with the kid when they draft him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the point I'm making is when I read the story, and I actually, yes, it was a point of Deion Sanders watching his player play, but I'm
Right.
also under the impression that it was the kid's idea too. The kid wants to play. He wants to get 100 touches. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Yep.
so I don't think it's Deion Sanders saying this. I think it's the kid
Okay.
saying, "Look, somebody go out there and say that I can do this both ways." And don't think for any. You just said that the team is gonna save money. See, I
Yep.
think it's the exact opposite. I think if you get the right agent, you have a guy like Deion Sanders saying, "Look, you're getting two players for the price of one. I want two salaries for the price of one."
Oh, that's
So if a
true.
normal cornerback gets 10 million a year and another normal wide receiver maybe gets 13 million a year, are we going to
Yep.
see the evolution of a $35 million a year position player?
Well, don't forget, every contract in the NFL could be voided at the end of the year, so nothing's guaranteed in the NFL. But he might have the agent who wants that guaranteed money. Maybe Scott Boras is around to go into the NFL now or something.
As a part two of that question, you just give me a yes or no answer. Does Travis Hunter get rid of this gold digging fiance that is only with him because he's probably going to make about $200 million in the next 10 years?
I say that for page six, Rich, to determine. I have no idea. No idea.
All right. All right. Next is a little bit of a fun question. Okay. We
Okay,
got two more questions left. The next two are a little bit fun. Okay.
sure. I like fun.
Next question. The Yankees the other day signed Cody Bellinger.
Yep.
Okay. Which, in my eyes, as a baseball fan, I think out of the entire offseason, that is probably the Yankees' best pickup. Okay. There's a B to that question. Is Cody Bellinger's performance on the field in a Yankee uniform going to be distracted by the fact that his wife was once with Giancarlo Stanton? Now, when you look at a man like Giancarlo Stanton and you look at a man like Cody Bellinger, Let's be honest. Cody Bellinger's a good-looking guy, but he's not Giancarlo Stanton. So is that going to be a distraction in the clubhouse for Cody Bellinger? Is he going to feel that he has to perform at a higher level, if you know what I'm saying, because his wife used to date Giancarlo Stanton?
Well, I just want to get to the first part of the story, Rich. You talked about the Cody Bellinger trade being a good move for the Yankees. Yankees didn't give up much for him. They gave up Cody Poteet, who pitched a couple of games. So basically, had Cody for Cody, and then there was $5 million that the club sent the Yankees to pay for Cody Bellinger. The Yankees have to pay rest. And Cody Bellinger's father, Clay Bellinger, used to play for the Yankees. Actually,
Yep.
if you look back, the Berras, Yogi and Dale Berra, the Bellingers, Cody and Clay Bellinger, the Lighters, Mark Leiter and Mark Leiter Jr. And I think there was one more. I forgot. One more on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. I have to
What
get
about
back
Jack
that
Leiter?
late. Well, Jack Leiter. Yeah, but I'm talking they played for the Yankees and stuff like that.
Oh, I did
Um,
specifically Yankees. Okay, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I know. Don't forget I'm the Yankee guy, Rich. Everything Yankees. Just kidding. But yeah. I think we don't really get involved. Nobody really gets involved like this in the clubhouse. I don't know how long ago this happened, where Stanton was dating Bellinger's now wife or anything, but I think that the Yankee wife, I don't know if Stanton's married now or not, or he's a bachelor, but it might be a little difficult on road trips and stuff if the waves done and stuff, but it's
Is
definitely
Giancarlo
having
Stanton married?
a nice, you're asking
Checking right
this.
now for you. Is Giancarlo Stanton in a relationship? Stanton, 35, was most recently linked to a hospitality worker, which you know what a hospitality worker is. He is now seeing Miami-based therapist Christina Ruiz. He is not married, and he's dating a therapist. So,
Thanks to that therapist, which is probably good. He probably gets his poke waived and stuff like that. So,
all right.
Rich. I think it's not like in corporate America where the CEO, he's banging his secretary and his wife doesn't know about it. So, and then they face each other at the Christmas party and stuff like that. I don't know, it's not really happen, but you like the Bellinger deal, and yeah, and what everything stays in the clubhouse, I guess, right?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, listen. I mean, look, it's going to be spoken about. It's going to be spoken about because listen, you know as well as I do. A bunch of guys get together, breaking chops. It's like Cody Bellinger is definitely going to have to kind of he's going to have to take a little bit of ribbon from the team because
Right,
it's going to come up. There's got to be a couple of guys, in there that are gonna, they're gonna capitalize maybe on that. But at the end of the day, they're both professionals. I don't know. It doesn't seem like either one of them are jerks. So I mean, I think that's just gonna stay. But as a man, I don't know what the relationship ended with on both ends, but maybe it might be a little bit of distraction. Maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, we'll talk about that after. I think Cody Bellinger was probably like the best signing that the Yankees did this offseason, but we'll get to
yeah.
that. Now,
While you're
one more
talking,
thing.
Rich, while you're talking about, there was another Yankee father-son tandem. The Davises, Ron Davis and Ike Davis. Ike Davis played a little bit with the Yankees, so I didn't even look
All
that
right.
up while you were talking. It just came to my mind. I know there were four of them and stuff like that. So, but
All
that's
right.
the fourth tandem, father-son with the Yankees.
All right. Number 5, the last question of the day, then we're going to get on to business. Christmas or Hanukkah?
Yep,
Because you celebrate both.
yep.
Go.
Hold on, we got a mic check here.
I,
Okay,
I
what
had
was the
I had
question?
I had to I had to text the engineering guy. I had to text my
What,
engineering guy.
what was the question, Rich? What was the question?
Question is
Yeah,
Christmas or Hanukkah?
yeah. And what about it? Like what?
What do you prefer? Like I said, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Christmas or do you prefer Hanukkah? What do you think's a better holiday?
Okay, well, I put my picture out there of Happy Holidays cake. So I kind of like the cultural sensitivity cake, I call it, Rich. So
Okay.
if you look around the country nowadays, I think there's more interfaith marriages ever. I don't have an interfaith marriage, but there is some interfaith in the families, let's say.
Right.
But yeah, so I think everybody does the Christmas and stuff and the Hanukkah. I have a Christmas tree downstairs. It's not bad to have a Christmas tree, no. I think it's called the holiday season for a reason, Rich. I think it's a holiday season to celebrate everything. Going
Yep.
around and telling somebody Merry Christmas when you don't know what they said to you. Everything that's in the style. You know, it's style,
Yeah. Come a little closer. All right, listen. Your audio is all over the place right now. Now look,
Yeah, I
this is what we're
think,
gonna do about this is what we're gonna do about your audio. I texted our engineering guy,
yep, yep.
but what we're gonna do now is Edubs. Okay, like I said, we're gonna do a little technical difficulties on your end, but I'm gonna have my opening statement now. Remember, I told you the other day because I've been penning this all week about Met fans versus Yankee fans, and both of us
Yep.
think how ridiculous this is because of one simple thing that happened in this offseason so far. Now it's blowing up into everybody. Just it's this versus this. You guys suck. We're the big
Yep.
brother. We're the little brother. Now,
Mhm.
I'm going to explain to you guys in about a 2 or 3 minute
Okay.
monologue here how I feel specifically about what's going on between the Mets and the Yankees and Juan Soto and who did better in the offseason. Okay. And
Okay.
I'm also going to put into perspective this whole thing about now out there you see, oh, the Mets are the Yankees' little brother. The Mets are just they're jealous of the Yankees. You'll never be the Yankees. You got Juan Soto. Now you guys think that you're the big brother and that you're our daddy. Like there's all this like ridiculous stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring before I read this, I'm gonna bring something up that I see on Facebook all the time. I see all these stupid people on Facebook on the Evan and Tiki page. It's like this guy wrote the other day. It's a picture right now of Aaron Judge. Now this guy is Yankees 366 at Twitter, I guess, whatever this guy said. For all the Met fans who think signing Juan Soto suddenly elevates your team to big brother, let me fill you in on a little secret. You have to win championships and become a global brand like the New York Yankees. Until then, stay in your lane, little brother. Okay. This is on some idiot named Adam Page from Boomer and Geo. Okay. This guy right here. Okay. If Bellinger stinks, what about Nimmo? When did we compare Cody Bellinger and Brandon Nimmo's numbers? Because that never came out of my mouth. It came out of probably some stupid Met fan's mouth. Okay. Now, next, one more thing I'd like to read that I read this morning. Okay. Robert Whalen from the Evan and Tiki show. Okay. One GM thinks offseason ends with signing overpaid player. The other just built roster. I'm reading it as per se, built roster. Great work by veteran GM, more coming. Now, there's no reason you could just say, okay, the Yankees did a great job. Under no circumstances are we going to argue about the fact that who did better than what. Now, I have an opening statement for my Met fans and I have an opening statement for my Yankee fans, and this is how it's going to go, okay? Met fans, listen up really close because this is mostly for you, okay? Mets came into fruition in 1962. We have 2 World Series. We are 4,816 and 5,148. We have an under 500 winning percentage as a lifetime of a team. We have 11 playoff appearances and 5 pennants. Okay. Next, the Yankees, 122 seasons. They are 10,778 wins and over 8,000 losses. That brings them well over 500 for a lifetime. 27 World Series, 59 playoffs, and 41 pennants. Okay. Now, what kind of Met fan bothers you? The Met fan that bothers you, probably, Eric, is the Met fan that says, it's like, the Yankees are not the Yankees who they used to be. The Yankees are not the Yankees. They didn't get their guy. Okay, let me bring you on a little history about the New York Yankees right now, okay? The Yankee fan that bothers me is the guy that tells me that it's his birthright as a Yankee fan to win a World Series. Birthright, okay? Now, if you're somebody that's born and you're probably about 15 to 20 years old, you have 2009. This birthright comment came from a kid who was 20 years old on the fan. Now, trolls, people talking, getting people mad. This all comes into under one umbrella to what I'm trying to say to Mets and Yankee fans right now, okay? The Yankees last went to the World Series in 2009, okay? That's what these guys have to hang their hats on because the 9 years prior, they beat my beloved New York Mets in the 2000 World Series. But between 2009 and 2000, okay, they made the playoffs 8 out of those 9 years, last year being the first time that they've missed the playoffs in that period, okay? The Mets have 3 legitimate Hall of Famers. And when I say legitimate Hall of Famers, I'm saying Tom Seaver, the other 2 guys were there for a good run, namely Mike Piazza and Gary Carter. We have 3 legitimate Hall of Famers in Met uniforms walking in. There's a whole list of other guys, but you got your Pedro Martinez. Willie Mays is on that list. This is what I'm trying to get at, okay? The Yankees, on the other hand, you guys have a who's who in the Hall of Fame, right? Or who's in the Hall of Fame, okay? The top 10 players of all time are not in the Yankee Hall of Fame. They're in the actual Cooperstown Hall of Fame, okay? You want to talk about players? Let's talk about managers that have been for this team. You had a guy named Joe McCarthy, okay? Joe McCarthy managed the New York Yankees a very long time ago. I understand. But again, we're talking history, okay? He won 8 pennants and 7 World Series, okay? That, to me, is a legit manager that kicked ass everywhere he went, okay? Then they had a little manager by the name of, you remember a guy named Casey Stengel, right? You remember Casey Stengel? That guy did some pretty good winning too. 12 years, 10 pennants, and 7 World Series. That's a pretty damn good resume. And again, who could forget the great Joe Torre? Yes, Joe Torre. You know why Joe Torre is very important? Because Joe Torre spent 12 years with the Yankees. 6 pennants, 4 World Series. Joe Torre spent 4 years with the New York Mets, and has absolutely zero to show for it. Billy Martin. Billy Martin had the biggest britches. I'm best friends with Mickey Mantle. Managed the team twice. Had no problem literally almost getting to a fist fight with Reggie Jackson on national television because he was backing up his players. Billy Martin, if he wasn't such a drunk and a maniac, maybe he would have won more than 2 World Series. But you want to talk about legit managers? Billy Martin is a legit manager. I only brought up those 3. You could bring up more because there's legit managers, there's legit players, okay? The Mets, we have a nice little spot at Citi Field. You know what they call it? They call it the Mets Hall of Fame, okay? The Yankees have a little Hall of Fame also. They call it Monument Park or Cooperstown, okay? Are you getting where I'm going here with this, guys? Okay? You guys have an iconic, this is iconic. Today, I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Okay, that's one of an iconic speech in baseball history, and that speech took place at Yankee Stadium. Okay, the Mets opened up a stadium back in 2008. Okay, we're starting off fresh. The Wilpons, we got a beautiful stadium called Citi Field. What do? We put a monument to a player that never played for the New York Mets. That's what the New York Mets do. Okay, I could go on and on. Okay, the Yankees acquired an all-time Red Sox. An all-time Red Sox. And what did that all-time Red Sox do? You, as Red Sox fans, watch that all-time Red Sox ride around Yankee Stadium on a horse. Because you know why? He finally won a World Series with the New York Yankees. Johnny Damon, you guys liked him over there in Boston. You know what he did? That Neanderthal shaved his beard just to become a New York Yankee, okay? Getting my flow here, guys, okay? Johnny Damon shaved his beard, okay? One more thing. The New York Yankees, they signed a guy for a minute for a cup of coffee named Cecil Fielder. He did pretty good there for a cup of coffee. You know what the Mets did? Mets went and signed Mo Vaughn. What happened with Mo Vaughn? At that time, one of the worst contracts ever. He gets up, blows his bicep, and now he's selling projects in Mississippi somewhere. This is the blow where I'm going as a Met fan. And of course, there is the one and only, never to be duplicated, never to be replicated, Derek Jeter. Okay? Now, this is where the comparison gets real, okay? You guys have Derek Jeter. We're happy this year. And don't take anything away from the man. He's a New York Met, one of the best Mets of all time. We are retiring David Wright's number, okay? Now, Derek Jeter waltzes into the Hall of Fame instantaneously, as he should. David Wright hurts his back. He's in the Mets Hall of Fame. He's a pretty good player, but not quite there. The point I'm making is, I got one more thing to show. All right, one more thing. We have to, what we have to do as a fan base, and this is as a Mets fan base, this is as a Yankee fan base. I'm a big troll when it comes to all this. You know why? Because I don't give a shit what the Yankees do. I just don't, man. Now, anybody that does is not paying attention to baseball because it has nothing to do with the fact. And you want to call us little brother? That's fine. You know why? You got 61 years on us. 61. Okay? You had the owner, George Steinbrenner, that said, I want that guy, and he got him. Okay? If he worked out, you don't know. But you know what, though? He went out and said, I got him. It's 61 years difference with the Met fans and fan base and the Yankee fan base as a team being in where they are. Okay? Why do we have to relish the fact little brother's little brother? You know why? Because you've been around longer. Not to say that little brother eventually doesn't supersede big brother. Now, I know Yankee fans are not going to want to hear that, okay? But the point of the matter is I care about my baseball team that plays in Citi Field. You guys, as Yankees, because I've watched it through the years, can sign whoever the hell you want. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because it just gives us stuff to talk about. Because if I remember correctly, Eric, and you could quote me if I'm wrong, the New York Yankees made it to the World Series, and the Mets were 3 games away from going to the World Series as well. So the fact that we want our prospective teams to go out and sign the entire major leagues to bring them to New York is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because it can't happen. Okay. We can look at our teams. And you know what, though? I'm all for the Mets spending 760 million. I would have said okay to 8, 9. I would have said okay to a billion because I'm not going to stop going to the games. I'm going to buy jerseys. I'm going to take my son on a Sunday afternoon to go see a baseball game. I'm going to bitch about the prices, but I'm still going to do it because I love baseball. Now, if you really hate it and you really say, oh, you know what, the first $1 billion player, I've had it, then don't watch. Then don't go to the games, don't buy the jerseys, and don't bring your kids up as fans and let them know what goes on and why the money is evil. But until you do that, you have no say in the fact that Steve Cohen could quite possibly spend over $1 billion. Because you know what I'm saying as a Met fan? Spend as much money as you want, dude, because that's just going to make my team better. And we're at a point where we can recycle players like the Steinbrenners did back in the 90s. You know what? Give this guy a contract. He doesn't work out. On to the next one. Okay. Right now, it's time for Met fans to focus on what we got going in Queens. We got Francisco Lindor. We got Mark Vientos. We are going to sign Pete Alonso. And if Pete Alonso does not sign a contract right now with the New York Mets, he is dumb because he's not going to go somewhere else and get maybe $15 million more and play first base because Cody Bellinger isn't in Chicago anymore. Okay. New York Met fans, focus. We got a lineup. We got a catcher. Let's get a pitcher and a relief pitcher. Because you know what, though? That team, if they played the way they played last year, this year, adding Juan Soto to that lineup, there's nothing in my mind as a Met fan that's going to stop them. And the only thing I'm going to care about when somebody says, what about the Yankees? Is shut up and stay in your lane because you're the American League, and I'll see you in Citi Field and in the Bronx in November. Now, that's my opening statement. So what do you have to say about that, E? Because I basically said, I don't care what the Yankees are doing right now. If they did nothing, I wouldn't care. And if they're doing right now, they're doing great. I mean, like I said, I can have an opinion as a sports guy. I don't care. I just don't care. I care about my team. Now, I just took up a whole bunch of time. Now, you could have an opening argument as well and let me know what you feel about what I just said. Hopefully, your mic is working.
Well, you gave me a little while there, Rich. I had while I was coughing, so I took some iced tea.
Perfect.
But I think this goes out to not necessarily you because I know the purest baseball fan that you are, but I think there's a lot of wokeness now in baseball. If you turn back the clock to the 40s and 50s, the Giants fans hated the Dodger fans and the Yankee fans. The Yankee fans hated the Dodger fans and the Giants fans, and the Dodgers fans hated the Giants and the Yankees. I think everyone picked a team, and that was your thing, you know? I think with social media, every little thing that says they get commented on, it can be distinguished. I'll give an example. 3 years ago on the WFAN site, Clay Holmes got traded to the Yankees from Pittsburgh, and I typed in, I think it's a good deal, and I was looking, a guy with a 4.59 or a 5.67 ERA, that's a good point of balance, you know, which sometimes this organizations where a player comes from, sometimes it's good to get in venue and stuff like that, you know? Baseball is kind of tricky because a lot of people look back on history in baseball, they try to compare it to the present. I think it's everyone on paper. I mean, getting Juan Soto is great for the Mets, but did the Mets win the World Series? No. Did the Yankees win the World Series by bringing in these 6 guys? No. I mean, you got to wait till March 27th, Rich. That's when it really starts. Put it out on the field and stuff like that. As for comparison of Big Brother, Little Brother, I mean, you can compare because there's 16 difference and stuff like that. I think the Mets fans are hungry, Rich, and I really, what has it been 14, 24, what about 37 years without a World Series, Rich? So I think the Mets fans are hungry, and I think getting Juan Soto puts a lot of excitement in City Field and stuff like that. But I think the Yankees fans, it was a transition period. So we wake up on a Monday morning. I went to sleep early on Sunday, wake up and I see Soto staying with the Mets. Okay, whatever. Okay, so then I'm like, oh my God, this is like the end of the world, basically. So it takes a while to accept this stuff. And then I watched the Soto press conference. things with me on the Soto press conference when he got and this is Juan Soto, it's not the Mets, which it's Juan Soto. Juan Soto's up there and he's looking at his cell phone while he's getting introduced. I don't know if you saw him looking down. I actually saw the body language. He had his phone and he's texting while they're introducing him and stuff. And then the interviews at the end where the Yankees didn't call him. He doesn't tell you to change your phone number. You got no phone and stuff like that. So it's calamities, Rich. I read on social media that Juan Soto got pissed because Aaron Judge and Anthony Volpe came in the clubhouse wearing MAGA hats, and Soto was against that and stuff. But you're on a team with 26 players. I mean, it's really hard sometimes that all personalities gel. I mean, look at Gabe Kapler. Gabe Kapler was on the Red Sox, and he was the only Democrat on the Red Sox amongst 25, 24 other people many years ago. So, I mean, if it's just because it's baseball, not politics, I don't even think that was a factor. The thing that made the wrong way, Rich, was the whole sweet thing. And I don't know if it's true or not, but Soto's mother wanted a sweet. And Steinberg says they're paying us $765 million. You're going to get your own suite. So if you look at the contract that Uncle Stevie gave, what is it, 760 million, Rich? 760. So you got to add on a couple of million with this suite and stuff. But and I agree with 10%. I know I agree with you, but I agree with you now. You mentioned that Soto wanted to be the A dog on the team. He didn't want to be the Tina, he wanted to be the alpha. And this is where I have this is where I saw an interview a couple of weeks ago. The Yankees are celebrating their 20 I'm sorry, their 15th year since their last World Series. And Alex Rodriguez was a big part of that team. When Alex Rodriguez came to the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez, he came from where, Texas, whatever, and he was like
I
the
actually
number
think,
one.
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but I actually think that Alex Rodriguez is a perfect example of Juan Soto.
Yeah, so let me say this. I don't believe it, Rich. You can't really compare because Alex Rodriguez came to the Yankees. And what position was he playing? He was playing shortstop. So he transitioned to third base because he knew Tarantino was the number one guy on the Yankees. So Alex Rodriguez said basically it's not one player that creates a team or wins, it's the whole roster that creates the team. I don't know if that was his take back then. He transitioned nicely into third base, basically.
But you
I
know
think
what I
it's
think?
so
Before I forget, and so
yeah,
you're making some very good points, and I
yeah.
want to comment on your point to
Mm-hmm,
the A Rod thing. See,
mm-hmm,
with A Rod, I don't think that A Rod when he switched to third base, I don't think A Rod switched to third base because he wanted to switch to third base because he thought Jeter was that much better than him. I think
mm-hmm,
that he switched to third base for the fact that people could look at him and see, be like, "Wow, look what Alex Rodriguez did." It's more of a martyr thing than the fact that he wanted the people to say to him, "Wow, you're a great guy because you did this." Not,
mm-hmm.
I don't think he did it because he thought that he was any less or any more of a player. I think that Alex Rodriguez, his personality, he thinks that he's the best player on the field no matter what, and a lot of times he was. But I
Mhm.
think that he wanted the praise for being the guy that says, "You know what? Look what I'm doing. I'm stepping over for Derek Jeter and letting him do his thing."
And that could be rich too. That could be the thing too. Like, oh wow, look at this. I don't have the ego that you guys think I have. I'm a team player and stuff. So that could be it too. Who knows? But losing Soto was a significant blow at first, Rich. When that Monday, I was like, we were really quick. I was a little angry and stuff, but I had to take a deep breath and sit back and say, you know what? Maybe it was quickly in disguise, and I'll tell you why. Because you had Aaron Judge playing center field. Aaron Judge isn't getting any younger, and we saw in the World Series with his flaws of dropping the fly ball in center field. Aaron Judge is made for right. The thing with that would have been if we signed Soto for 15 years, Aaron Judge is going to be playing the outfield in a couple of years. He's going to be the DH. I mean,
Right.
so what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to sort of be the DH in a couple of years, and you can agree he's probably going to play right field for the Mets, what, 5, 6 years, and then take the back seat to designated hitter, you would think, right? Or something, or maybe a couple more years. And then, so you can't have too many designated hitters on the team, especially with Giancarlo Stanton too right now. When was the last time Giancarlo Stanton put on a glove? So many teams had this handicap in the past. Look at David Ortiz with the Red Sox. When did he put on a glove, right? He was the DH, but then in that series, you saw him when the pitchers were hitting, you saw him put on the glove. So I think it's blessing in disguise. And the fact that the Yankees said, okay, they pushed off their shoulders, made some deals, and the thing is, the Mets fans were going against these deals. And like I said, so it's like some baseball, you can beat the Yankees and anything like that. But you know what? Like your team, I like my Yankees. You like your Mets. And you know what? If the Mets make the World Series, you're not going to root for the Mets or anything. Because you guys the Mets fans to root for the Yankees. You know, the Mets fans like the Yankees. And then the Yankees make this deal. Have a million guys. Max Fried, pretty good pitcher. Okay, he's on the other side of 30. I fill this position. Belgium the left hand fill this position. Now Donaldson comes in, and I think the Johnson version 2.0, the Donaldson is huge. Huge to the point for the takeaway. So the Yankees, they were questioned the Walker signing.
Eric, dude, I'm sorry I have to stop you, dude, because the last 2 minutes your audio sounds horrendous. I
Oh my
can't.
God.
It
Yeah.
sounds even worse than last week, dude.
I can't believe it. I'm not even moving or anything like that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like you got to be close. Like if you got
I'm
to
really close. I'm right on top of it. Yeah, you see it on the picture. I'm right on top of it and stuff. So,
yeah, it
but
doesn't sound good. So I don't know. I don't know. We got to try and figure something out here because you know, you're making really good points, and I hear you. But the thing is,
yep.
I don't think
I'm like
anybody's gonna
right
be
on
able to.
top of the microphone right now. It's crazy. It's like,
What if, just do me a favor while we're going live? Just unplug that microphone completely and use your microphone for your computer.
oh, really?
Just do
Hold
that.
on. Let's do this.
We're gonna see what happens here. We usually
Okay,
have
hold
some
on.
tech.
Yep.
Wait,
I got to see where it's plugged into here.
yeah, and just use your mic. But now you have to switch your microphone to the computer. Just like I said, I really we'll edit this part out for the live audience. But I can't hear you. You're gonna have to go to your setting. Hold on a second. Maybe I can help you on my end. Hold on. Hold on. Can't unmute. All right. All right. So you have to you got to connect your mic. Or you have to figure out, you got to go to your settings and use your computer mic. While he's trying to figure that out, it's like, yeah, listen, I know he's making a lot of really good points about the Mets fans and the Yankee fans. And Met fans and Yankee fans through life, they've just been petty. We're always petty to each other. And I guess it comes with age because I listen to the way my son Aiden talks to his friends, and they argue about baseball with the Mets and the Yankees. And they just it just sounds like petty arguments sometimes when you're younger. But as you get older, and if you have your heart broken so many times by a specific team, like look at my specific team. I'm talking, this is Sunday, right? There's a 1 o'clock football game today. The Jets are playing the Rams. Okay. I'm wearing a Barry Sanders football jersey. You know why? Because I'm looking for a Detroit Lions fan out there. Okay. This is a public service announcement because I take my fandom very seriously when it comes to sports. Okay. I can no longer root for the New York Jets. I'm a Jet fan. I will never take that away from myself, but I am looking for a legitimate Detroit Lions fan because my all-time favorite player is Barry Sanders. I need a different team to root for. And I think that this team, the way they are put together, is going to win the Super Bowl this year. So I will not root unless I get a legit, blessing from a Detroit Lions fan where I can just go all out and root for this football team because I can't take the Jets anymore. He has left the building. So, like I was saying before, I think I put into perspective what it feels like to be a Met fan. Okay. Now, I said earlier when we were going through all this stuff that being a Met fan is hard. Okay. Now, it's not as hard as what goes on in life out there. I do understand, but there's a reason for sports. Is a lot of crazy stuff going on out there in the world, and to put a baseball, football, basketball, whatever your preference is, put a game on and just kind of like disappear and delve into something that you really, at the end of the day, have no input on how the team plays. You have no input on who the team trades for, who the team picks up in free agency. And you certainly, under any circumstances, do not have enough money to talk about how much money a billionaire is spending for their team. Steve Cohen, for instance, okay? I'm in a fantasy baseball league, $150, okay, to play fantasy baseball. Steve Cohen's in a fantasy baseball league right now, man. He was playing with his buddies back then, playing fantasy baseball. And now it's real life. Now it's real life where he has real money and billions of dollars. Now, there's no salary cap in Major League Baseball. That allows owners like Steve Cohen, Dodgers owner, and whoever else you want to throw into that mix to go crazy and spend however they want. Okay. And if you happen to be on the receiving end and be a fan of that team, great for you. Yankees, you had that stuff for a long time, guys. You had it. See, he's back. Eric. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. So you had that stuff for a really, really long time, Yankee fans. And when it comes down to it, I understand. I understand you want to say all sorts of stuff that you guys get the players all the time. I understand you guys think that you're big brother. But don't tell me it's your birthright to win a World Series. Be humble, bro. Okay. As a Yankee fan, okay, that's the stuff that bothers me. Why is it your birthright? Why is it handed down from generation to generation? Okay. In this short little span that we call life, that it's your birthright for the New York Yankees to win the World Series. Other things in your life that you could consider a birthright. But Yankees winning a World Series is one of them. This is how much thought you put into this. And you get on the radio talk shows and you write on Facebook and you write on Twitter and you talk about on TikTok and you yell and scream that you Mets will never be the Yankees. I don't want to be the Yankees. Past is the past. 27 world championships. You guys are the pinnacle of what sports is right now. Okay. History wise. Okay. Now, you want to get a little political. Okay. You want to take all the Yankees banners away because you don't like the way they act? It's the same thing as you idiots out there taking monuments down all over the city and all over the country. Monuments for bad people. Again, look at those monuments. Learn from those monuments. Learn from those statues. It was a messed up time. You need to be reminded of that every so often. Okay. It's not like that right now. Okay. Now, I don't want to go somewhere else because I could actually pause this podcast right now and start talking about a couple of other things, but I'm going to keep it sports related right now. But the Yankees are kind of like the monuments. Okay. You want to take down a statue of, let's just say, pick your person. You want to take a statue of George Washington down because maybe he fraternized, maybe he had slaves, maybe he was a bad person. He was the first president of the United States. Okay. Take his monument down so we could forget about that. No, we've grown from that era. Same with the Yankees. Yankee fans, going forward, it's a lot of years between us. 62. It's not even like a little brother thing. It's like you guys are like our grandfather. Okay. When you think about it, when we were born, you were 62 years old. So, you know what you guys sound like out there? You just sound like the crotchety old man that's been around way too long and think you're owed something. You're not owed anything as a Yankee fan, except to sit there and enjoy watching your baseball team play. Because for years and years and years, they've given you 27 championships, numerous pennants, and numerous wins. So to look down on your team when they don't sign a $700 million player, and let's be honest out there, Yankee fans, all of a sudden, Juan Soto signs with the Mets. All of a sudden, we didn't want him anyway. It's dumb. That's dumb. Because if the Yankees did happen to sign him, Edubbs, you there? Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. I'm going to cut this short in a minute. Then I'll call you up on the phone. I'll call you in 5 minutes. Poor Edubbs. He's got to get with the technology, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we can get Big Ben out there to help him out. But I was going, at the Yankee fans a little bit because, again, Grandpa, not little brother, not big brother. Grandpa, you got to realize that things push forward at a certain time. Now, I understand that our whole lives as the Mets, we really haven't done much to make people proud. We signed Mike Piazza in 98. Okay, that was huge for me. Probably the biggest thing as a Met fan I've ever seen besides them winning the World Series. I was 14 years old in 1986 when they won that World Series. Year 2000, year before 9/11. Y2K year. Okay, crazy year. Yankees beat the Mets. Fast forward 2015, playing a Little League baseball team named the Kansas City Royals. Just hit the ball all over the place. What did we do there? Lost the World Series. 2022 rolls around. Get into the playoffs. A wild card. Juan Soto and the San Diego Padres squashed our dreams. 2023. The year the kids are supposed to start playing. The year it's going to start happening. The year we're going to start putting our play into order, into plan, into action. Terrible season. Terrible season. 2024. The year That started off with me going on a little break from my New York Mets there for a little while. I gave them about a 2-week break, kind of like, when you're dating somebody in high school and it's just kind of getting a little annoying at the time. And you just say, you know what, need a little bit of a break. We'll get back together. But right now, I just need a little bit of a break. Did that with the Mets in April. So I need to reset. I reset myself as a fan. I reset what I thought was going to happen that season. And I became realistic. What 2024 brought to me as a Mets fan was beyond my expectations. Players that played well for New York Mets in 2024 are players that went beyond my expectations. Playoffs, they make the wild card. I had no idea that this baseball team was going to make the playoffs this year. But you know what they do? In Mets fashion, they take it to the third game. We send Milwaukee home. Big, big home runs by Pete Alonso. Everybody said was washed. Everybody said they don't want Pete on this baseball team. Pete came up big in that wild card playoff. As a Mets fan, I turned to Aiden. I say, Aiden, can you believe this? He goes, oh my God, Dad. They're going to the NLDS. The NLDS? No, they're not. Yes, they are. Game one, you know what happened. I'm not going to explain it. As a Mets fan, like I said to you before, I didn't think this stuff's going to happen. What happens? Francisco Lindor happens. Francisco Lindor, in my eyes, it could be Pete's home run, and it could easily be Francisco Lindor home run. If you ask me as a Mets fan, Francisco Lindor hit the biggest home run I've ever seen alive on this planet by somebody in a New York Mets uniform. Another Met fan could say something else was bigger. Another Met fan could say, oh, forget about that. 60s, 69, whatever. Me as a Met fan, I've been following this baseball team my entire life, watching Francisco Lindor trot around those bases like he was supposed to do that was one of the greatest moments I've ever witnessed as a Mets fan. And it being against the Phillies made it that much better. The next day, Francisco Lindor struggles a little bit. You know what happens? They start picking it up again. Vientos, Alonso, Iglesias, Taylor, Nimmo. All these guys. Lindor doesn't have to go out there and hit the big home run anymore. You know why? We have Vientos. We have Alonso. We have those guys to hit big home runs. We have those guys to get big hits. I don't know about you guys, but it seemed to me like Julio Iglesias, Julio Iglesias, the singer, is on base every single time. It could be a 3-2 count. He could a little punch and duty hit over the shortstop's head, but he always seemed to be getting big hits. I can remember going to a game, third game of the season, they're playing the Milwaukee Brewers. And I looked and turned to my son. I said, Aiden, who the hell is Tyrone Taylor? Pretty much the whole entire season, everybody in the Major League Baseball, everybody that watched baseball, when their prospective team would play the New York Mets, they would say, who the hell is Tyrone Taylor? And that's exactly what everybody said, because nobody was ready for Tyrone Taylor this year. The guy played better than any person that I could have even put in those big positions. So they beat the Phillies. And I looked at my son again. And I say, Aiden, they're going to the NLCS. Aiden says they are. I said, wow, this team is going to the NLCS. And with that, they went to the NLCS where they met a Dodger team, which is just relentless. I think maybe with a little bit more pitching, maybe with one or two more bigger hits, maybe we could have contended with the Dodgers, but the Dodgers were just too much. And as it showed true in the World Series, where they handled the New York Yankees, sent the Yankees home, your big guy out there, number 99, did not come through in a big spot. Just didn't happen. You could say what you want about Aaron Judge. He's a great player. He really is. So was Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a great player too. We all know the Dan Marino story, right? I don't care. You could throw for 500,000 yards in your career. If you don't win that Super Bowl, it's just Dan Marino. Aaron Judge, you don't win that World Series. It's just Aaron Judge. That's in my eyes. Francisco Lindor this year showed me what a leader does. And it's never more evident than that slow, quiet trot around the bases with no emotion. No emotion other than the fact that I was supposed to do that. And Aaron Judge, a little message to you. You're supposed to do that too. You're not supposed to drop the ball in center field. You're not supposed to strike out with the bases loaded. You're not supposed to ground out to the first baseman. You're supposed to get up there and do your job. Your job is to be the best player in the major leagues. Also, everybody says, we all know what happens. Sometimes people can't handle pressure. Maybe that's you. But Dan Marino was a pretty damn good football player. He never won a championship. Aaron Judge is a pretty damn good baseball player. Is he going to win a championship? I don't know. Like we talk about a lot of players. We talk about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, great, won a championship. So there's players out there that you talk about as being the best players that have never won championships. People have different criteria. But as we stand right now, I'd start my team with Derek Jeter any day and twice on Sundays, as they say, because that's what it takes to win championships, not dropping the ball in center field. I think I beat up the Yankees a little bit. I think I've explained myself pretty good today about why Yankee fans are right. We are the little brother, or as I put it today, we are their grandson. Over 60 years is a long time. We have some time to catch up. And Met fans, look into this screen right now. It's our time. It's our time to shine. Even if we only sign Juan Soto in the offseason. We had a team last year that was a couple of innings away from going to the World Series. If that happens, any of you diehard Met fans out there knew that that was going to happen? I don't think so. So if all we do right now is sign Juan Soto and put him between Francisco Lindor and hopefully Pete Alonso or Vientos, let's go. Let's start that season. And let's get cracking. Let's get cracking on finally giving our franchise, our fans, something to cheer about this year. Because I'll tell you one thing, New York Mets, thank you for last year because you made it. You gave our fandom a purpose last year. You gave our fandom a place to go where anything could happen. Not, they're not going to win. They're the New York Mets. So let's carry that on to next season. Let's carry that on April, May, June, July, August, September, October, all the way to November. And I know I'm not supposed to curse anymore, which I don't. And I'm not supposed to yell and scream because I promised a couple people that I'm not going to yell and scream. But let's fucking go, Mets. It's the Murf and Edubbs show. We'll be back next week with some football. And I might pop on later on my TikTok channel with some do's and don'ts because every Sunday I've been doing my anti-locks. Now, what my anti-locks are, you bet against me, you're going to win some money. It's the Murf and Edubbs show signing out. And a very, very Merry Christmas from the both of us. And thank you for hanging with us. And thank you for giving us the support. Merry Christmas from the Murf and Edubbs show. And we will see you guys next week.